Jake Paul Joshua.
Oh, Jesus. That's a fucking bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what. A lot of people watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one. Then I think everybody's going to get what they finally been waiting for.
I'm a little fucked up, but will you take care of me forever and ever?
The so-called problem child finally hit his limit. For years, fans questioned what would happen when internet hype met real heavyweight power. On December 19th, that question was answered in brutal fashion. This wasn't an ordinary defeat. It was a harsh wake-up call that ended with Jake Paul hospitalized, facing the real cost of stepping into elite competition.
Hospital bed.
What's up, guys? The day after the fight. Got out of surgery a few hours ago. They put a plate in my jaw, wired it up. Hurts to talk, so I'm gonna keep it short. Took the L, respect to the men across.
This moment has moved far beyond hype, trash talk, or pay-per-view sales. What remains is a harsh reminder of how unforgiving knockouts can be. Now, UFC President Dana White has finally spoken out, and his response is shaking the combat sports scene. The bigger question is whether the damage goes deeper than the fight itself, and if the broken relationship with his brother can ever truly be repaired.
Is the burnt bridge with my brother unfixable?
I don't hate your brother. You guys need to fight guys your fucking same size. When you fought Floyd, you are massive. He did hit you with a fucking bomb, and you fucking ate it. He's gonna fight Gervonta Davis.
Who do you got?
Gervonta, I think, hits way harder than Floyd, but he's too small. Your brother's gonna be able to get inside on him, put his weight on him, tie him up.
I hear your critique on fighting guys the same size as you. Is that why you guys wouldn't let me fight Conor?
Yeah, you're fucking huge. Conor weighs 145 pounds, 155 pounds.
Yeah, but he says he could be.
The sixth round was meant to be Jake Paul's statement moment. Instead, it marked the end of the persona he built on confidence and noise. Just over a minute into the round, Anthony Joshua delivered a perfectly timed right hand that shut everything down. After lasting 5 rounds, escaping knockdowns, and delaying the outcome as long as possible, Jake finally ran into a level he couldn't bluff past. He dropped to the canvas as the swagger vanished, replaced by the reality of serious facial injuries. This wasn't simply a defeat, it was a physical breakdown delivered by a fighter who stayed patient, controlled the pace, and ended things the instant he chose to.
Or Jake would have moved around the ring at 100 miles an hour. There's 2 things I would have done. Tried to shut Jake down at 100 miles an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I decided to put the pressure on. What I could have done better is a lot of things. 100%. In the fight game, you've seen the amazing fighters that have graced us over the last 100 years, and the expectations that we put on ourselves are immense, but I tried my best. Jake done well while it lasted, but if you remember what I said in the interview with Cameron is, fighting's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you is that, Jake, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna see a time when I'm gonna take your soul and you're either gonna give up or you're gonna get knocked out. And unless you have that instinct, you just will never be a good fighter. So I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start. But as we saw tonight, Jake has spirit. He has some heart. He tried his best. And I take my hat off to him because, number one, a lot of fighters haven't got in the ring with me, and Jake did. And secondly, even when he got knocked down, he kept on trying to get up. And I take my hat off to him. So America, I think you have someone who could potentially, if he still has the heart for it, come back again, dust the dirt off his shoulder, and come again and maybe sell out this center sometime in 2026. Maybe against a Gervonta Davis, a Ryan Garcia, who knows?
What followed in the hospital was a nightmare scenario for Jake Paul's team. Doctors worked for hours to repair the damage, ultimately reinforcing his jaw with titanium plates to hold the fractured bone in place. The injuries were severe enough that multiple teeth couldn't be saved, leaving Jake confined to a liquid-only diet for the foreseeable future. Medical images that later surfaced online revealed just how serious the break was. His jaw split straight through. It's a harsh reminder of a bout many insiders believe should never have been approved. Even through the pain, Jake tried to joke about fighting Canelo within days, but the comment felt less like confidence and more like a scramble to stay in the spotlight.
All lost to Fury. I haven't really paid attention to Jake Paul.
I have no.
Jake
I have love for Jake too. I don't.
Wait,
have, I don't know
Jake
when a
Paul's
fight's happening.
fights
I really
are all
don't.
the same. He fights older people that are smaller. It's all the same shit.
Am I not remembering correctly? Didn't Jake ask if you could make a amends between them?
I don't think it's ready for that yet.
Well, it's not that I don't hate
yeah.
Jake Paul. Jake Paul's doing.
Dana White didn't bother masking the "I warned you" look when the headlines broke. 4 years. The UFC boss has mocked the influencer boxing wave, and this result only reinforced his stance. He was blunt, stressing that combat sports have tiers that branding, hype, and online fame simply can't bypass. In the past, he even joked that curiosity alone was driving viewers, all waiting for reality to catch up. Watching Jake Paul leave the arena facing serious surgery only strengthened White's view that the matchup was a terrible call from the start. In his eyes, this wasn't shocking or tragic. It was exactly what happens when someone steps into a world they never truly belonged in.
Oh, what'd you think of the fight?
Oh, God. I think the gig is up. I'm just tired of Jake Paul as a boxer. I think he's done a fantastic job. He dressed up like Hulk Hogan. I just don't know how many more times Netflix is going to go to bat for him. But I think they will one more time because, you know, the axiom is basically if you draw money, you're going to be getting chance after chance until you're not drawing money. And then you'll still get a couple more chances after that because you did draw money. And that's kind of where he's at right now. You know, he's going to draw with Tyson. He's going to draw on this one. And so he's going to get a couple of more chances, you know, with Netflix. And they'll pay that, you know, good for him. They'll pay that money. But, man, these are, you know, this was just a bad fight and made boxing look bad. Made boxing look bad in many ways. You know, especially it just was a circus and the guy, you know, going for takedowns and the ref's not doing anything. I thought the ref was terrible. Thought Joshua, you know, was not good. Hurt himself. And then he even admitted it. And Jake was just out there not trying to win a boxing match. He was trying to survive and get the moral victory so he can go out there and be, you know, oh, you know, I lasted 6 rounds with Anthony Joshua. And he survived 6 rounds with him.
He survived all right.
But I
he
mean,
never quit. Like somebody I know.
The size difference on fight night was impossible to ignore. Anthony Joshua entered the ring at roughly 243 pounds of solid muscle, carrying himself like the seasoned champion he is, while Jake Paul came in noticeably lighter at around 216. Commentators later described the matchup as one-sided, noting that Jake spent much of the fight circling, tying up, and doing whatever he could to stay upright. Meanwhile, criticism toward the Florida State Athletic Commission has intensified, with voices like Gareth A. Davies questioning why the bout was approved at all. When an inexperienced fighter is matched with an elite-level finisher, it stops being a fair contest and starts looking like an unnecessary risk.
To carry Jake Paul for a while, but told me afterwards that he could see that Jake Paul was being evasive. I spoke to him personally, and he decided just to slowly marinate Jake Paul. Obviously hit him with a huge right hand midway through the 6th round to end the bout. Broke Jake Paul's jaw. He ended up in hospital, kind of rearranged his teeth a little as well, but was very clear afterwards to give great praise to the bravery, courage of Jake Paul that everybody saw. I mean, delusionally optimistic he really is. Jake Paul should go and fight YouTubers and influencers now. I don't think this kind of bout should be sanctioned again. But Joshua, of course, now wants to fight Tyson Fury. He's called him out, and I hope we get that fight in 2026 after both of them have had warm-ups. I understand Joshua will have a warm-up fight in Riyadh late in February 2026. It's all done here. It's over. It's a one and done.
Even inside the Paul family, the confidence has shifted into full-on damage control. Logan Paul was visibly emotional while standing up for his brother, insisting Jake had banked several rounds before the knockout ended everything. He applauded Jake's toughness, pointing to the fact that he continued fighting despite serious injury. But that storyline hasn't convinced the wider combat sports world. Voices like Daniel Cormier and Carl Froch have been openly critical, suggesting Joshua deliberately slowed the pace to stretch the fight for viewers before closing the show. Frock went further, labeling the event hollow and arguing that it hurt boxing's credibility far more than it helped build Jake Paul's reputation.
Pure survival mode from round 1 right through to round 6. I don't know if he's got a moral victory going 6 rounds. Maybe he has. People might give him credit for going 6 rounds, but he got in there and just survived. He just went in there and ran like a chicken from round 1 right through to round 6 when he got splattered. And it's like, it's just, you can't really justify what he's done, because this is supposed to be a professional sanctioned boxing match, and I think it brings the integrity of the sport down when somebody like AJ is a 2-time world champion, can't get in there and just completely dismiss somebody like Jake Paul, who I've said for ages can't fight. He's not a professional boxer. It's just AJ following him around, touching him to the shoulder. Round 1 came and went. Round 2 was much of the same, bit slow. I think AJ got caught with an overhand right at one stage, but sometimes when you're out in the rain, you're going to get wet. He was following him around, taking his eye off the ball, probably a bit undermotivated, thinking, what's this guy doing that's in front of me? Jake Paul was just running left to right, ducking low, falling on the floor, throwing a couple of wild swings, and one did get through, but it just bounced off AJ's chin like water off a duck's back. It was nothing. And then the only reason Anthony Joshua got the fight finished, the sad thing is, I think if Jake Paul was fit enough and he had the energy and the engine, which he hasn't got, because he's not a professional athlete. He goes in the gym every day and he trains and he's fit and he trains like a pro. But that don't make you a professional fighter. What makes you a professional fighter is building yourself up through the ranking system, earning your. In
hindsight, the warnings from fighters like Conor McGregor sound uncomfortably accurate. Before the bout even began, McGregor publicly suggested a matchup heavily favored Joshua and later implied the outcome would leave lasting consequences. That prediction proved close to the mark. Absorbing a clean strike from a top-level heavyweight isn't just painful, it can have long-term effects on both body and mind. Now, with Jake recovering in a hospital, limited to liquids and staring down a long road back, the debate has shifted. People aren't talking about the payday anymore. They're asking whether the money was worth the permanent changes he'll carry forward.
6th round before getting his face caved in. Literally, you can see the x-rays of his jaw online. Jake did not beat the count after absorbing the right hand that broke his jaw, and AJ got the KO. Guys, let me come out and say the story to me coming out of this fight is Jake Paul. This dude is a maniac in the best sense of the word. And I'm not going to try and hear any Jake Paul slander today on the show. Guys, nope. He got in the ring with a former Olympic gold medalist and heavyweight champion of the world who's 37, he's not 45 years old. He's still fighting, guys. Dubois knocked him out. He was in that fight with Dubois. He was a top heavyweight. Yes. Yeah, Usyk beating him a couple times. Usyk, one of the all-time great fighters. And those were competitive fights. Yes. That Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul gave up enormous size, experience, talent, everything. And guys, let me tell you something. If all of us right now, you've been retired how many years?
10, 12.
10 years? I don't think combined, including you, Malik, we get into the 6th round with Anthony Joshua. If Anthony Joshua is coming to hurt you, which he was, and Jake Paul was tackling his legs. He was trying to use takedowns. He was exhausted. Yes. He was running. Yeah! Are you joking? Right. No kidding! Yes. He's trying not to get killed. Yes. And by the way, I know it was a lot like William Skull and Canelo Alvarez, where Skull was kind of outlanding Canelo upstairs, but there was nothing on the shots. But the fact is, actually, Jake Paul landed more clean punches to the head than Anthony Joshua did before the end of the fight. What he did was amazing. Yes. And guys, he also did something else by taking this fight. What Jake did was retroactively justify fighting a guy like Tank Davis, or even trying to make that fight. Because what Jake is demonstrating here is, okay, everybody, you're accusing me of having to fight an ancient Mike Tyson, or a tiny Tank Davis, or an old MMA fighter. I'm really thinking about how to make a global event that people are interested in.
Online reaction has split between grim satisfaction and real concern for where the sport is heading. Across platforms like Reddit and X, fans acknowledge Jake's toughness while also pointing out the clear gap between him and true elite competition. The Paul at Joshua tag has been flooded with replays of the finishing sequence, with many arguing the stoppage could have come earlier. Now, even reinforced with surgical hardware, Jake Paul stands at a turning point. Does he scale things back and compete within safer limits? Or does he keep chasing massive, high-risk matchups that could lead to far more serious consequences?
Tell that this fight was over. You knew that Anthony Joshua was going to eventually land something that hurt Jake Paul. And you know how you know the boxing world wanted it to be brutal? Because Rosendo was sitting here and he goes, I hope he gets knocked out bad. He didn't want him to get TKO'd. They wanted Paul to get absolutely destroyed. And honestly, that right hand, oh my God, he took all of that right hand. You could see in his face, he was like, okay, now I understand boxing. Now I understand, like, at its worst, what boxing can be. Because he got hit clean by one of the biggest punchers, acclaimed, a lot of accolades, world champion heavyweight, and he went down and didn't get up. And honestly, I was hoping he didn't get up because it was only going to get worse. I thought Francis should have stayed down when Joshua hurt him bad. But a lot of times fighters just don't really want to give up on themselves, and that's why they get hurt worse. But it was exactly what it needed to be tonight for this fight and for this fight. It was fun. It was crazy at times with the wrestling and all the grabbing and the clinching, the referee saying the fans didn't pay for this shit, all the dirty tactics. And it ended in the way that...
The lesson of December 19th is impossible to ignore. There are no shortcuts to the heavyweight elite. Anthony Joshua didn't just win. He proved that boxing isn't measured in clicks or followers, but in raw, undeniable power. Meanwhile, Jake Paul may have walked away with a massive payday, but money can't disguise the harsh reality of a liquid-only diet and a shattered jaw. This wasn't just a knockout. It marked the collapse of a loud, expensive experiment, leaving its star physically broken and humbled. For the influencer boxing world, this fight was a wake-up call. Battling retired MMA fighters or fellow content creators is one thing. Stepping into the ring with a focused, world-class heavyweight is another entirely. Jake's experience left him with titanium plates, months of recovery ahead, and a career that now faces a serious reality check. Did the problem child finally grow up, or did he just record the most costly jaw-breaking moment in history? Either way, the recent silence from the Paul camp speaks volumes, far louder than any pre-fight bravado ever did.
Jake Paul done what anyone would do if they stepped in the ring with an experienced fighter that they know they can't compete with. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if me and you was to spar, if you wanna not get KO'd immediately, you don't stand in the middle and engage with me. Why would you do that?
I'll take my chances, to be fair.
Fair enough. Hugging.
Make it ugly as you can.
What else are you supposed to do? You're clearly not going to defeat me if you decide to box me. So you have to use something else. That's what Jake done. He done it for as long as he could. He realized AJ's strong. I'm not going to battle with him in the clinch. I'm just going to drop to the ground. As I've said, that referee, he refereed Jake and Neeson Kip. He knows that ref. He thought that ref would allow him. In his mind, you see when you're the A side and you ain't seen the dirty side of boxing, you think that everything and everyone around it's in your favor. He thought that referee was going to let him keep falling, pick him up, just dust off his gloves and continue the fight. When the referee said to him, bro, stop doing that, he was thinking, oh my God, even the ref that knows me, is on me. AJ's on me. My corner's on me. The ref's on me. I'm getting tired. This guy's strong. Like, that is literally what happened. But who could blame him though? Like, I rate Jake.
What do you think? Can Jake Paul make a comeback after this crushing loss? Who should be his next opponent? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss our future uploads. Share your opinions in the comments. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next video.